Yeah.
But what a good story that can make you, the reader, start to weave your own.
Well, and I had wondered,
tangent.
with her grandfather being the tax attorney, then I always wondered, was there maybe some more relation, like were they still somehow like distantly related, and then the statue had been through the family, except that she had found, it explains where she got the statue
was
later.
Was she really the grandmother in these movies?
And there were things like that
She and Saxonburg have a little thing.
And that's something that I'd, in reading it, until it comes out that where she had found the statue originally and everything else, but in my mind I was like, oh, the statue could have been in her family, and she's really related to her. Like, just reading it initially when she thinks the statue looks like her, like someone from her family, and then that the statue came from Mrs. Frankweiler, then it's all
you never know.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
And didn't they foreshadow in the beginning of the book about, didn't they refer to the stern grandfather, the stern accountant or tax?
Yes, and you know
like
what?
that?
I didn't make that connection even as an adult reading it. And I read it as, like I said, I read it as a kid. I forgot all about the grandpa and the whatever. But yeah, because she says in her letter, she kind of pokes fun at Saxonburg throughout the thing. She's like, well, Saxonburg, you probably didn't notice this because you were too busy rolling around with your grandkids playing on the ground.
I just made that connection.
Yeah, I know.
She's writing this to tell the grandfather about his
and then I was just looking
adventure.
at it in the letter. She's even saying that she's sending the account via her chauffeur, and so I'm like, maybe she wrote all this like after they told her the story. And so she's sending the story along with the children when she sends the children back to the family. And she said like, and then it's like she even like at one point says that she even saw him looking out at the window. And so that's when you make the connection that it's his grandchildren, is when they say like even that he was there, and then you realize that she was telling him all about his own grandchildren.
Yeah.
But it is. It's just kind of funny.
Well done. And it's a Newbery award winner.
Yeah, I got that.
So it's not even a nominee; it's an actual winner.
That's awesome. Well, and I guess we're out of time.
We can do it in a bonus minute.
Yeah.
I
have one more.
Yeah, we may have one more minute.
Okay, my last question was about Mrs. Frankweiler, and it says she prefers living alone and has worked tirelessly to maintain her collection of valuable art, but she mentions to Claudia that deep down she's always wanted children of her own. So my question is, where do we think the connection lies between those elements of her personality? And do we think in a way that her collection of beautiful and priceless items over the years has sort of become her family? And maybe her relationship, her sort of snarky relationship with Saxonburg is kind of like a family thing too, especially since she's sort of experiencing his grandkids, through a different light and telling, those things seem to be connected to me.
Yeah. Well, to me, I think like if you can't have children, like as a parent, your children are like the most priceless things you can have, and collecting all of these things is kind of a.
Well, she nurtures her possessions like you would your own children.
She keeps files on them. She knows all about them, researches them.
All that time spent, all of the details.
It's just like
and they're
placeholder.
And
it's
a
all for
Michelangelo
herself.
piece.
Yeah.
I mean, that is absolutely, like the biggest, the most priceless piece of art that anybody could get is something made by one of the most famous, artists of all time. So. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was funny how she didn't donate it. She sold it at auction, and it didn't matter to her that it was only $225?
Yeah.
Instead, and when it would have been worth so much more, but
she just wanted to see somebody try to figure out the mystery of it, even though she knew it was an authentic piece of his, and she had the evidence to back it up. She wanted to see the museum people go through it and figure it out for themselves because she liked the mystery, and
I guess the value of it was the mystery.
Yes,
which is how then Claudia's character and her character together, then they start to mirror each other towards the end, because that whole idea of valuing something that is just personal, of personal value, rather than a price on it, or just Claudia's adventure. She had personal things, revelations that had to be found before she felt okay to go home. And it didn't make much sense to anyone else, which would be the same thing with Miss Frankenweiler.
I always said Frankenweiler too. My whole life I've said Frankenweiler. I didn't realize
it wasn't
Frankenweiler, it's Frankweiler.
Yeah.
I've always
it's not Frank.
I've always
Frankenweiler.
said
It's pretty
Frankenweiler
hilarious.
until I got this copy again and was
I
reading it.
think it
in
needs that
class.
extra syllable.
Yeah.
in the middle, but
And then I always want to say, is it basil or basil?
I don't know.
I used to always
Basil.
say
I always said
basil.
basil.
I always said
That was
basil
basil.
too, but
I think basil's probably the correct for the name, but I always said basil
I did too.
also, just because, I don't know. Basil's probably how you would say the name though.
We might wanna wrap it up since I'm not a great editor.
we're
so-
overachievers and we're 3 or 4 minutes
Alright, so
out.
that's all for today.
Yay!
November 5th, 2011, an on time project.
Yay!
visuals.
That's a good illustration.
Thank you.